medical bays and medical stations, equipment, and some of their other uses, I can say for sure that this is probably one of the least used, but if and when the ship does get into combat, it's probably the most frequently used out of the entire ship. Again, this is set in the crew quarters and some of the stations set around, and the cargo areas are put there for obvious reasons. Uh, the least, and I do mean least, uh, used times that it's ever used is because of a dropped crate or a poor placement of a crate that leads to an accident, or ship, or whatever else that might be put in place that's a problem. Sometimes the AI is able to detect that and prevent it. However, in the most rarest of cases, sometimes it is absolutely necessary to have someone rushed over to a medical station to support them. Now, this is also quite an interesting little tidbit of information that I can say for sure on my part. Uh, is that these medical stations are very much part of being able to keep management of the crew for long duration flights, and because I mean, if you're out there for a long period of time, you're gonna eventually have an accident. So I'm also pretty much going to settle on some of the uses before moving on to my next video, which will be some of the more robust and secure measures that are needed for safety in regards to the crew and whatever else that might be needed to be quote-unquote kept alive. A lot of the medical stations are pretty much equipped with several different types of liquids and other things that would help in a medical emergency. So the crew is given a rundown on how to use each of these liquids with each different type of species, and if it's a hybrid, they are given a special chemical that slows their metabolism and pretty much puts them into an almost comatose, more than comatose state that that slows their heart rate almost to a or whatever circulatory system they have or need that they have to live to a dead stop, but also keeps them alive for long durations of time as it well gives them what they need. And after which they are sent off to the medical bay and or given further medical treatment on site using those stations, while medical personnel are sent to help them out and bring further supplies. Now, that's just a small example of, I guess you could say, crew injury management. But in serious cases, which is and are almost definitely during battle with most weapon masters versus weapon masters, is that once they actually get back from mission, if at all, they are immediately sent to the medical bay. No questions asked. No other way around it. You must go to the medical bay to get checked out. For me personally, it was a bit of a hassle to do such things, but in more often cases than not, I got hurt pretty bad, and I needed to get to the medical station right away, or a crewmate, well, slung me over their shoulders or humanoid form, and it's like, okay, you've had enough. You're getting off this battlefield right the heck now. And just teleport me over to the med bay almost instantaneously. The medical personnel there, they don't waste any time whatsoever, because the longer you wait, the less of a being you probably will be. The medical implements used in the medical bay itself, I could say, are very advanced for the time that humanity has. I mean, robotic stuff is very, 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 very precise, but when you have someone that has a medical implement that's used to, say, like used for surgery, you can program that implement, put it over their body while they're knocked out, or whatever they need to get them comatose. And I can say that you are not fully aware, but they need you to be aware to keep you psychologically sane, because there are several different types of doctors there. There are different medical professionals that are set for keeping you alive and keeping you existing from just dusting on the table, so to speak. You're not going to be immortal anymore. You are going to pretty much, like, you're going to have problems, sort of thing. Mortality for immortals is definitely having their getting quote unquote killed. So the idea is to slow the rate at which the body the soul, or whatever you want to call it, the energy body degrades to the point where it won't be an issue anymore, and that it won't dust, because it's going to degrade further from a chain reaction, from a weapon or other type of energy that is considered hostile to any being, irregardless. So this is probably the only reasoning that that could possibly be given to say, oh, okay, well, another being is going after you and they intend to put you out of existence for permanent. While the medical personnel, yeah, it's just quite the opposite. I've gotten hurt many times, but I felt like I was so close to actually to biting the bullet. A lot of the times, it's purely psychological, that your body doesn't want to heal because of like something's happening in your social life or something like that. The reasoning to keep you comatose but have you still slightly awake is that there are psychologists that actually keep you from, let's just say, destroying yourself. And they're not too bad what they do. I give them that. We've gotten close to almost wanting to cease to exist for permanent myself, and just having them around, like you just have different feelings and emotions that you would normally not have, but are quite vital to your sanity. Sometimes when you're under a psi attack or anything like that, they are what's going to help you more often than not. And a lot of what I've seen from most of these types of healers is sometimes if you're really bad off, you get your brain scan or linked to a computer. Now, not all medical bays have this, but only for the most serious cases it is a way of keeping someone alive. I'll get into stasis a little bit later, but this is the last video I'm going to be doing, unless I hear anything from somebody that wants to hear about the non-vital systems, or should I say non-vital vanity items and stuff like that. Nonetheless, the experience of getting uploaded or synced to a computer is quite insane. It's like having two brains and being in two places at once, and then suddenly you're just looking out at your own body. So it's like having an out-of-body experience, but you're actually looking at your body while you're hooked up to said computer. I kid you not, it's a rather disturbing experience, but there are certain measures put in place for these computers that keep your mind stable at all times. It's like, there's no fear, there's no emotion whatsoever, there's just you. You're existing in that moment, and you slowly start to get back your emotions little by little until the monitor or psychological advisor or whoever is actually working with you to give you a full recovery finds a way to give you what you need to continue existing. A reason to exist or otherwise, it doesn't matter. The point that's their job, is to make sure they have what you need. If you want to continue on, soon after that, someone else comes along and says, "Okay, hey, just be careful out there." I got close to that. Somebody was saying, like, I was setting up in these computers, and they readjusted the computer a little bit, and I was under severe psychological attack. And until up to a point, they finally figured it out, and was able to continue existing like I was never even in the medical bay whatsoever. So, in general, surgical versus psychological, the advancements needed for each side for humanity, I can see the implications for sure. But for space travel, it is a must. There will never be a single being on a ship that will not need some sort of medical attention at any given point, if often rare with the current systems I've already stated. So, without further ado, thank you for watching. And if you want to hear of the rest of the different systems that I've said as stated in my introductory video, then I'll leave a comment on this one, and go ahead. Shoot. Bye-bye.